Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of our Salem by Night Chronicle. I am the Ravnos Archon. My name is Will, and I will be your storyteller this evening. Last we left off with our Camarilla crew, we opened up on Melvin and Mustang, revealing to the sheriff that Elizabeth Guernsey is no longer a threat to the city because she had been destroyed. They kept the truth of the situation close to the vest, just kind of explaining that they knew that she was no longer a piece on the board and that they did not give up Melvin's clanmate to the sheriff. They were asked about the Knife and Fork restaurant. They met Leslie Thatcher. They heard about Wesley Ian Garter and how he had been attacked, as well as the sheriff's diner and the Last Call bar. They relayed that they lost Mustang's car and asked for a bit of a ride, so the sheriff had Tulip show up with one of her fast cars, which they discovered is a stick shift 1977 Pontiac Trans Am black T-top with the Golden Phoenix on the hood, obviously. But they also heard that Willow had killed Andrew Givens, and that she was using that as leverage to kind of make herself the clan whip instead of Melvin, which Melvin gladly stepped down to give it up for Willow, even though he's still going to be working for the sheriff at some capacity. They also met a young blonde woman with a Kansas University t-shirt called, they discovered is called Hannah Deering, who is a ghoul of Joshua's sire. They went over to the restaurant to see what was going on, to check up on Wesley Ian Garter, and they went across the street to the art gallery that he also owns, where they saw a nudist couple being painted in enraptured stances. They talked to him for a little bit. They discovered how much of a racist piece of shit he is, as it was laid on a little bit heavy-handed. But Mustang and Tulip ended up checking out the restaurant to see if they could discover what happened there. And between all of them, they discovered that the fire did not start inside the restaurant, but at the doorway, that it had been barred to keep people inside. And in the compulsion that Tulip fell into for her clan, she did manage to find a hidden door that led to a basement, where they discovered a group of youngish children, at least 10, but no older than 16. There were 3 girls, 2 boys. One of the girls they learned was called Mabel. All of them colored, emaciated, and looked like not well fed. But they all claimed to have belonged to Garter. And to try to keep the minimum masquerade breach as tiny as possible, they ended up just taking the kids over to the hospital and just dropping them off at the emergency entrance. And then the 2 of them went back to the apartment building, where they saw that Mustang's car had been parked. They got a letter with the initials MB that was left for Mustang, and they met up with Lydia and the head in the jar upstairs. They kind of discussed the situation that happened, how Lydia had to take the car to avoid getting shot at, and we left off with the 2 of them preparing to go to sleep for the day. So we'll pick up with the pair of them about an hour after sundown. Good to see you guys again, as always.
Hi to you too. I was about to.
Yeah. But yeah, I wanna skip out on the rouse check for the evening. Let's assume no hunger increase has happened, because some of you are hurt. I mean, one of you is hurt.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Mustang has seen damage since the game began.
You don't want to see it.
I've been hurt before.
Never? Okay.
I think so.
It's usually Brandon's fault that Melvin gets hurt, so I'm just surprised.
Yeah. I would like to roll that to see if I can heal something? Because I'm not down too much, but the world we live in.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's one rouse check per superficial damage you want to try to heal.
Okay.
So
So
you're a
first one was
hunger 2.
yeah.
So I think you want to take it one at a time, or do you want to go for both of them?
Oh man, if I go to 4, that's gonna be ugly.
Yeah.
I'll just go 1.
Okay.
Until I can get some food. Ooh, okay. This means the rest of the die rolls are gonna suck for the rest of the night because I got a 10.
Oh, okay. So you heal 1 health level with no increase in your hunger. It means you're down 1 from your max of 7.
Yeah, I'll be good. I'm good for now. If I can get some food in me and bring my hunger down, then I'll
Sure.
I'll dabble.
We had left off with you kind of asking Mustang for her help in getting to the bottom of why Mickey died somewhere to the west instead of somewhere to the east, like on the road to Chicago, like he said he was going to be on. So I'm assuming that if you want, we can spend the first hour of the evening with you two hunting.
I would say I don't know what Mustang's hunger at, but I would absolutely like to go hunting.
Yeah, you're both at 2.
Yeah.
So
I guess we could.
You know what? If we're gonna go hunting, I'm gonna try because then I'll be at hunger 3, which I can deal with because I got a success. So I'm gonna roll one more time.
Okay.
Let's see what happens.
Do it.
An 8. Okay. All right.
Okay, so
Good.
2
Good.
2 without hunger. You are tempting the beast.
I'm done. I want to go eat though.
Yeah. So you spend the first hour hunting. Both of you can drop down to hunger 1.
Sweet.
Unless you want to kill somebody, Mustang. No.
No.
Yeah. So it is close to maybe 9:30 in the evening. The city is yours. Where do you want to go? I would assume. Do you trust Mustang at this point enough to take her to Mickey's Haven?
Yeah, I would say so.
Nope.
Especially if I'm asking her to put her neck on the line to help me figure out what's wrong with him.
Yeah.
I would, or what happened to him. I would absolutely have her come with me.
Okay. So you show up at the south end of town, just on the very outskirts of Salem proper. Where are you going to just park right up at the apartment building? Are you going to...
No, I'm gonna ask Mustang to like park around the side.
There's...
Right.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No. I didn't know if you wanted us to say it.
No.
Say it to her. Okay.
No. That's fine. You park around a little bit of a distance away, not too far. Give yourselves enough breathing room in case something goes wrong. And as you climb up the stairs, because the elevator is still broken, you get to his 3rd floor apartment, and you use your key to go in. It is as it was left. There is the fake bed that he has off to the side. It is a simple 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom. There is the hidden compartment underneath the bed that he would use to sleep in. And there's just the kind of simple everyday items that litter the house. You know, there's a couple of cups in the sink. There's a plate that has some kind of food on it, food residue, just to keep up appearances. How do you want to proceed?
I just basically, well, I'll tell Mustang, this, well, this was his home. This was his home away from home. There's got to be something in here. I never had really the liberties that I, I'm gonna have now to be able to look around because, like most of us, we keep a lot close to the chest. But um, I think he'd be okay with me doing some digging. I'm like, and I point. I'm like, if you want to try that way, and I point to one side of the apartment, and then I'll go to another side, maybe to like where his bed is, or if he's got any kind of like, I'll check his bed, check underneath,
Mhm.
look in the if there's any cabinets around there, look through that.
All right. I mean, the
Do you
both.
like to hide things?
I mean, I go, we're Nosferatu. Yeah.
Yeah, but where did he used to hide stuff?
I
Generally.
Will, I'm gonna assume that I even though I was his progeny, like I wasn't he didn't share everything with me like that.
Oh no, not at all. Like
Right.
even the like around 5 or 6 years after the both of you came to Salem, like you learned that he had made somebody else before you.
Okay.
So the whole time that you were in Chicago, that he was training you, that he was kind of digging the rules into you, he never once mentioned that he had made somebody before you. But even that, like he shared things with you on a situation that if you needed to know, he would share. Otherwise, it was like, why burden you with knowledge that isn't going to serve any purpose?
Okay. So well, Mustang, he he told me what I needed to know when I needed to know it, but he never really was I was never privy to any of the real ongoings in here, but knowing him and knowing the type of person he was, there's probably a bunch of stuff hidden around here.
The two of you are especially equipped to handle this kind of situation because the role is a wits and investigation role,
Okay.
and both of you are like fucking Batman when it comes to that one specific role.
No, because I didn't get hunger, so now I'm gonna botch this. Watch, you're gonna see. Okay, no ones. I like that.
Okay.
Okay.
And the worst thing that
So
can you saw the worst thing that can happen to you because
yeah. Well, let me tell you something. Let me tell you, this was a good roll. I have a 3 and a 5, and then I have an 8 on my hunger die, a 9, a 7, a 10, and a 7.
5 successes.
Yeah.
What about Mustang in her corner of the apartment?
I have a I have a I have an 8 on my hunger.
Mhm.
Then I have a 10, 7, 9, 1, 6, 6.
Okay, 6 successes. Damn. Excuse me. Yeah, the two of you just immediately get down to work like a CSI agent. And in the bedroom, Melvin kind of looks through the bedding. He looks into the underbed kind of safe space that he would sleep in during the day. And as you're down there, you notice that there's a couple scratch marks in an arc that are very suspiciously close to his bookshelf. And as you kind of run your hand over it and start to peruse it, you notice that some of the books are fake, that they're just husks. And as you grab the bookshelf itself, you notice that it does move and it starts to slide in an arc out. And you can see there is a kind of relationship map that's been pinned to the back of this bookshelf. In the rest of the apartment, on the other side of the not bedroom side Mustang was looking for, you find that there are a bunch of different kind of notepads that have been strewn about. A lot of them have had whatever pages they were being worked on torn up, and using the pencil shaving technique where you just kind of like rub it against the paperwork, you have found that he spent a lot of his notepads asking about Geraldine, asking about the Primogen Council, the old Primogen Council while she was prince. There's a lot of talk of the beckoning and what might have happened to the elders in 1980. And as you're kind of bringing your stuff over, you see Melvin pulling the bookshelf out. You see the relationship map. There are pictures on the books on the relationship map that show a number of people. Some you don't recognize, but at the center of the web is Andrew Givens. One of the pictures you do recognize is Gretel Meyer, and because you just dealt with him, you recognize Marcus Bradley. Mustang also recognizes the picture of Nikolai Barlow on the relationship map.
Was that the guy that we spoke to at the bar?
Nope.
Okay.
No.
Okay. No, because I
am I on the wall?
You are not. You are not on the map. There are notes there as well. It looks like some of the mathematical stuff that you were looking at ended up here on the relationship map. What were you gonna say?
When it comes to Nikolai, what is around him, connecting him relationship wise?
There's notepads, notepad papers, the little thin kind of detective pad that Melvin will recognize. Asking about Boston, asking about London, asking about why he goes all the way back to Prussia. There's questions about the year 1879. There's a bunch of different notes about trying to claim the mathematical significance of 1980. But you also notice that there's 3 postcards kind of attached at weird angles. One is for Portland, Oregon. One is for Boise, Idaho. And the third one is for Salt Lake City, Utah.
So that's what she sees looking at Nikolai.
No, that's just on the relationship map.
Okay,
that's what both of you.
Okay, sorry, I didn't write that down because I thought it was for her. Okay,
no.
So Boise, Idaho, Salt Lake City,
Salt Lake,
Portland.
Okay.
One more question.
Mm-hmm.
Is Frankie on the map?
He is not. The only other pictures that are there are of a black gentleman that maybe Melvin has heard of. It would require a very difficult intelligence, and let's pair that with awareness.
Oof. Okay. That's
okay. There's 2 more gentlemen on the relationship map, and there's a young lady that the 2 of you might remember. It's not as difficult as remembering the black gentleman.
I got 8, 8, 8, 9, and a 1.
Okay. Yeah, I'm like, it's gonna be difficult. It's gonna require at least like 4 successes, and you go in and you get 4 successes.
That's why I lifted it up so you didn't think I was BSing. I was like,
Yep.
no, look.
I get you.
Because it was 3/8.
The black gentleman you remember is a Ventru of some renown. He was, after the Beckoning, he was the heaviest contender to take over being Prince of San Francisco. And although San Francisco has fallen to the Anarchs and is a barony now, his name is Phineas Jefferson. The other gentleman, the white gentleman next to him, you rolled high enough to discover was the first self-proclaimed Baron of San Jose. He's the one that took over San Francisco. His name is Patrick Kilkenny.
I've heard that name before.
And the young Asian woman whose picture sits there as well in between the two of them you recognize is Li Ching Baozhu, the representative of the Baozhu Financial Group.
No me gusta.
Yeah. And there's one more picture of a woman who is not really connected to anybody, but the only thread that she has attached to her is going to Andrew Givens. And there's just question marks.
So it's an unknown woman?
Yeah. Looks to be white, Caucasian, auburn hair. Can't really see the eyes because there's sunglasses, and just this kind of plaid scarf in the headshot that he has there.
Okay, this is a lot.
Yeah. It also looks like the postcards were recently moved because the outline of the shadow where the light would hit it is kind of off on all three of them.
Okay. Is there any? Do we see any kind of note or anything like that? I don't know if, because Mustang has the journals, if there's any kind of notes or anything like that of him potentially taking a trip west.
There are no notes of him taking a trip west. One of the big things that Mustang found out in the main part of the apartment is there's a scrapbook. It's mostly just kind of old police reports. It's old newspaper articles from Chicago about different cases that you and him helped the police solve while you were both still in Chicago. But in between some of the pages, there's another 3 postcards, all of them from Chicago. One of them is depicting Chicago Avenue. One of them is depicting Lake Michigan, and the last one is depicting Southside.
Okay, so Lake Michigan, Southside
Chicago.
What was the last one?
Chicago Avenue.
Okay. I'm gonna take the postcards and flip them over to see if there's anything on the back.
At first glance, there's nothing. And then you kind of see the lemon water residue of the homemade invisible ink.
I'm assuming I would know how to make that visible.
Sure. We would have taught it to you.
Okay.
The Portland postcard has 3 words.
Mm-hmm.
They're not in sequential order. They're kind of, all of the words are written on top of each other.
Okay.
But it's sorry, they, and watch.
Sorry. So it's not in sequential order. They're just built. They're like on top of each other.
Yeah, they're not meant to be a sentence. They're meant to be a list.
Okay.
They're listed out. Salt Lake has this, me, and back.
Okay.
Boise has about, killed, and your.
And do the Chicago ones have anything?
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
Chicago Avenue has the, disappear, and somewhere. Lake Michigan has didn't, just, and summoned. And Southside has elders, they, and were.
Okay. So I show all this to Mustang.
Okay.
My thought process is that all these together will make his message. Now I'm trying to think of a way to do this where it's not going to be boring for us sitting quietly for 6 hours, 2 hours trying to figure this out.
Yep.
So is there some kind of a role I could do to like see if I can like decipher it? Or is that something you want me to like actually lay out?
No. You could try a intelligence and
Because I'll sit here, but it's not going to be entertaining for anybody.
right. No. Yeah, we could try an intelligence and academics.
Oh, good. I asked Mustang for help because if Mustang has academics, that
Can
would
I also do that?
Yeah, sure.
Academics
I'm
and
academics and intelligence.
Yep.
oh, it's not that great.
I wish somebody didn't die. See, my 3 dice.
Oh.
6, 6, 3. I got 2 successes.
2 successes. Okay.
6, 6, 9.
Oh,
Nice. 3 successes. Between the two of you, you kind of sit there for about half an hour, kind of trying to match the words to where they might go well. And you discover that maybe the bookshelf postcards form their own set of sentences,
okay.
and the scrapbook ones form their own message, their own set of sentences. Because it looks like a lot. There's so many combinations using all what is it, 18 words.
So I'm thinking watch your back is one of the ones on the postcards. I think it's sorry about this. They killed me. Watch your back. Wow, that was faster than I thought. If that's correct, that was faster than I thought.
Yeah. I mean that's one message that you could decipher from that combination of words.
Yeah.
I missed one stack of words. I did the sorry they watch, but I didn't get the next one. I got about killed your, but I didn't get that one.
Yeah, this
This
me
me
back.
back.
This me back.
Yeah. I'm gonna write that down. And if I was right, I'm going to be super impressed with myself. And you said Lake Michigan didn't just summoned?
Didn't just summoned.
Okay, so okay, for that one, I think it's the elders didn't just disappear; they were summoned somewhere. Which elders disappeared?
Well, remember in 1980, the beckoning happened, and all the elders just vanished.
Oh, you're right. So he's talking about the beckoning on that one.
Yeah, it looks like he's been researching the beckoning.
Does any of his research into the beckoning talk about any kind of locations where they may have gone to the west, or any signs pointing to somewhere he feel that if he was so focused on the beckoning? I'm looking at this from a perspective of him, like Albert was with Atlantis, because I'm getting the same vibes.
Yeah, it's very easy to kind of see that there's more here than anyone can even really testify to. Excuse me. The big thing that you notice is, given Lake Michigan, given Southside, and given Chicago Avenue, it kind of forms a triangle. And the Portland, Boise, Salt Lake City line, although not perfectly in line with the triangle, does kind of make an arrow to the old world.
Yeah, but that doesn't. Oh, okay. That doesn't help because we're not going to Romania right now.
Yeah. But it also kind of throws a curveball at you because he is pointing east, and he died to the west.
And he's got that triangle that the three of those form.
Mm-hmm.
What's at the center of that triangle?
I mean,
Chicago.
It depends on how far into Lake Michigan you put that point, but it's kind of the coastline of Chicago.
Okay. Does he have a map of Oregon or of the United States there?
He does not, actually.
And I may be national treasuring this way too much.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm thinking is maybe the arrow, he did all that to throw people off, and that the arrow should be pointing the other way. And the reason why it's showing on the coastline is that he went towards the coast that way in Oregon.
Interesting.
That's one thing I'm thinking. I mean, again, I may be overthinking this, like I tend to do, but he wouldn't, even with the invisible ink. I feel like Mickey would still put other safety measures in.
Mm-hmm.
When we create the triangle,
yeah,
do one of the angles of the triangle point to the line of the Salt Lake Portland? Like, is there like a point that goes in line with that line?
Ooh. Let me see. Where is
Almost like he's creating an arrow.
It is almost like he's creating
the tail
an arrow.
Of the arrow.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing is, the arrow itself, if you follow the line of Salt Lake, Boise, Portland, it kind of points in a southeasterly direction.
Okay.
Chicago is a bit too north
What
from where the
about
line
a
ends.
point of the? What about a point of the arrow and the line? Do they point to a city, a place?
Oh, now that you do see kind of would point to somewhere either in southeast Oklahoma or northeast Texas, that border. Like that's where those two lines would intersect.
Still not west though.
But it's west of Chicago, right? Is it
It is
necessarily?
Yeah, but he got killed west of Salem.
Salem.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's what got revealed to me, is that he didn't go east. That he went west. That's what what was.
But is it west of Salem or just west of Chicago?
No, they said west of Salem.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because I know he traveled. Did he ever go in that area, Wild? Where, because I remember, if I remember correctly, this was quite a few sessions ago.
Yeah.
But that you told me Mickey had traveled around to a bunch of cities. Would that area where Mustang pointed out of the southeast Oklahoma northeast border of Texas? Would that be correlate to one of those places that he had gone to?
The Oklahoma Texas border, not a lot. He tended to stay away from the southern states, given his complexion. But you do remember him saying something about having family to check in on in Wichita Falls.
Okay.
Which is in close to that Oklahoma Texas border. It's on the Texas side. If you follow the line the opposite direction and you go and you use Portland as your navigational arrow, it leads to Astoria, Oregon,
Which is west.
which is northwest,
Okay.
northwest of Salem, but exactly northwest of Portland.
So that might be a better bet.
How far is that from here?
Looks like a few hours. Maybe you could do it in less than 3. Especially with Mustang's car returned. You
What
probably
time
make
is
it
it?
2.5 hours. At this point, it's 11.
Should we maybe see if there's anybody, like maybe ask the sheriff if there's any connections that he may have over there, that if we need to stay, we have somewhere that we can just crash for that. I don't plan on being there too long, hopefully, because then we don't know what we don't know what Connie, when Connie's gonna be back or whatever, to the house, and we don't want to be gone for like weeks on end. But maybe we should reach out to the sheriff and see if he has any connections over there. Would I know if Mickey
Yeah,
had
that's a
any
good
connections
idea.
over there?
Mickey did talk about somebody he had that could get him out of the states if he needed to. Astoria is a dockside town. But remembering the name, given that it was only mentioned like once or twice, would be a difficult situation.
Can we look through the notes and see if there's any notations about Astoria in Illinois or any like anagrams of Astoria that would make? I know I'm going deep here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I probably not.
Make a wits and investigation roll if you're looking for like anagrams and things
Can I
like that.
assist?
Sure.
All right, I'm gonna hold it up here because these are important, and I don't want you thinking I'm like, oh no.
Oh, here we go.
And I got 3 successes, but
Okay.
I got a 4-3-2-1 and then an 8-9-9.
Okay. Almost the straight flush.
Yeah.
You start looking through some of the
I
notes. Go ahead.
Oh wait, Mustang
Yeah.
Mustang roll 2.
Go ahead.
I got a 9 on the hunger, a 1, a 3, a 3, an 8, a 5, and 1.
Okay. Between the two of you, you do notice that a couple names don't make any sense. They don't sound like real names of people. And you find out that there are in fact a couple of anagrams that he's thrown in. Among them is Shively Park, which you know is a place that he's talked about that is in Astoria.
Okay.
And there's also an anagram, well, not an anagram, but there are references to Lewis and Clark, and the journey and whatnot. And you remember him saying that one of his contacts is an undertaker at the Lewis and Clark Cemetery, which is in southern Astoria.
Okay. Into the rabbit hole we go. You up for a drive, Mustang?
Go.
I leave a note for Connie.
Okay. What does it say?
We'll go back to the house before we leave, obviously.
Yeah.
I'll just say, checking out lead. We'll be back soon. Don't wait up. I'm not going to say anything about what it's for in case it falls into the wrong hand.
Right. You gonna take the head in the jar with you?
Do you want to take the head in the jar? Yeah, we'll take the head in the jar.
Okay.
Before we leave, though, can I read the letter that was left for me?
Sure.
Do you want me to? Do I need to step away?
No.
Okay.
The letter is from Frankie. It says, "Hey kid, figured this would be the best place to reach you since the boy said that I could find you here. Things are getting rough with the money man. Can we meet?" And then just signed F.
And it was that, can we meet?
Yeah.
Okay. If I wanted to leave a note for him, how would I do that quickly?
I mean, you could leave it with the guy downstairs and tell him if the same guy that dropped this off comes back, that you can give it to him. You guys can drop it off at the restaurant on the way.
No.
That would require you going a roundabout way to go up to Astoria.
No, I'm gonna leave it with the front desk. I'll tell the front desk that if the guy that left us comes, to give the note to him, and I want the note to say, "Hey, be back in a few days. We'll meet then."
Okay.
And actually, Will, before we go back to the apartment,
Mhm.
I apologize. I'm gonna close the bookcase again.
Okay.
And I'm gonna grab some of the journals about the beckoning, because now that I believe that that's the message he left me about the elders were summoned.
Mhm.
We got a 3-hour drive, so some reading might benefit both me and Mustang.
Sure.
So, just FYI, sorry, I forgot to mention that.
That's fine. Lydia thanks you profusely for taking the head.
Are you gonna be all right?
She nods and holds up the journal that you brought for her to decipher. Yes, I think trying to figure out if there's anything here of my father might do me some good.
Okay. We shouldn't be but a few days, if that.
Hmm.
Just this is your home.
Worst case, I can go and stay with Isaiah.
Make sure that he's not up to any bad stuff, because remember, I did speak for him on his behalf.
She laughs and she's like, I believe that after everything with Miss Guernsey that he has severed ties with those people.
Okay. When I get back, I do want to delve in a little bit more with him.
I will try to make that available to you, sir.
You don't have to call me sir. It's Melvin. I think we're past that, Lydia.
Sure.
And I nod and I grab my piece. Make sure I carry. And I got like whatever. I grab the head. I get a blanket.
Okay.
Just in case we're walking around Astoria, I don't want to have a head.
Right.
And then
Is there ammo?
You have like an extra clip, maybe?
Alright.
And then I'll just
Cool.
Mustang whenever you're ready.
I pop into Lydia's room.
Okay.
I just kind of look at her, nod, hit the door frame, and then leave.
Okay.
And do we need a box for the, the
I have a name.
No, I have the blanket. We can just use the blanket.
yeah, but what if we hit some, rock or something in the car, kind of, wouldn't she be more comfortable in a box?
No, she wouldn't.
We can just put the seatbelt on. It's fine.
And she turns to the head. I just want you to be comfortable.
I'm a head in the jaw, dear. How much more comfortable can I get?
Is it comfortable in there?
No, it's
How do you
fucking not.
breathe? Oh.
We wouldn't be able to get you a better jar, right?
No, you have Tremere on call?
No.
Not really.
No.
All right. This'll do then.
Oh, okay. Do you want to come to Astoria with us?
Anything would be better than watching these four walls. The paint's dry, I can tell you that much.
Okay.
Okay.
I grab. Like, oh, all right. And I go. I do apologize, because there's cameras, so I cover the head.
Yeah.
You should have put her in a suitcase or something, Melvin, don't you think?
Good idea.
It's like you're carrying a bird cage under there.
It's my canary. No, I'm just kidding. I get a little suitcase, and I pat it, even though she's not gonna feel it because she's in glass. But I pat it up, and I go, I apologize for this, ma'am.
Yeah. I'm sure you're doing what you have to do.
And I zip it up.
Yeah, it's not weird or anything. Just walking around with a suitcase.
I'm a fucking vampire
Going
that
on a
eats
trip.
rats. Like, what the fuck do you think? Like, it's not. This is the least weird thing that I've done.
Yeah.
Oh, and I take Betty D with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have I
As
met this animal?
You must have. She's like roaming around the apartment.
We didn't have like a scene
Oh, you didn't have.
where
Oh, yeah.
Mustang meets an animal.
Oh well. You hear me whistle, and he come because she was in Lydia's room. I told her to stay in Lydia's room,
yep.
and you see a larger than normal ferret come scurrying out of the room.
It's a chunk.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a chunker.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know. Well, she would just run up on my shoulders, right, and
Yeah.
do her thing.
She'll climb.
She'll climb up onto my shoulders and then wrap herself around, and so it looks like then that I have like a scarf around my neck.
Can I say hello?
Oh, you hadn't formally, Betty.
The head
Betty
picks
D.
up.
Where's your manners?
You see her get up, so that she is stretched out from his shoulder to shoulder. She is about that long, and still the tail kind of comes down a bit off of one shoulder. She's maybe like 5 or 6 inches thick in diameter. And she just kind of looks over in your direction, and she leaps off of his shoulder and just kind of climbs onto yours.
Oh, hello.
And you feel the cold nose just like pinpricking every as she just kind of like smells your face.
DD.
Betty, this one isn't going crazy about Atlantis, so you don't have papers to mess up.
There's
So can I walk with the
yeah.
ferret on my shoulders
Oh,
all
yeah.
the way downstairs?
Yeah, I don't care. Yeah, you can ride with
She's so happy.
her. Wait until you see her in action,
Oh man.
because she has my potence.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah.
but yeah, as you leave the apartment, you get to the little podium where Willie usually is, and he sees you with the suitcase, and he's like, going on a trip, sir?
Yeah, it shouldn't be too long.
All right. Be safe out there.
You too.
You go down, the elevator takes you to the garage. You get into Mustang's car, and you start heading to Astoria.
Oh, I stopped at the front desk to drop off the letter.
Okay. He makes a note of it. You do maybe one stop along the way for gas, but it does take you about 2 hours and 45 minutes to get to Astoria proper.
And I'm going to be reading the journal during that whole time.
Okay.
And I'll read it out loud so Mustang hears it.
Sure. If you're coming in through the 202, you can detour and head over to Lois and Clark Cemetery before you go into the city proper. But Shively is in the city itself. You would have to go over Young's River, the bridge, or you could stay on 202, come around, and then kind of take one of the side streets over.
Yeah, I think we should go to Lois and Clark first so that we can secure potential lodging,
Yeah.
because we're
Agreed.
probably gonna have to be here at least a couple nights.
What time is it right now?
By the time you get into Astoria's kind of area of influence, it's about 1.
Okay. Yeah, we should definitely go to the cemetery and see about this Undertaker.
You pull up, and hanging out in one of the little golf carts at the entrance, you do see that there's this disheveled looking man. He's got a long one of those sun hats, those wide brimmed sun hats on, kind of reading a book. And as you pull up, you see that he doesn't look up at you. You hear this kind of gravelly voice. Yeah, how can I help you guys? Park's closed.
Mm. Yeah, we were coming. I'm a friend of the Undertaker here.
Oh. Who can I say is calling?
Melvin.
You see his head pop up, and the both of you can see the disfigured appearance of a Nosferatu. It looks like the right side of his face was gnarled to the point of maybe a wild bear having gnawed on his face for a good hour and then spitting it out. And the left side of his face is just pockmarked, like sunken parts of his skin have just kind of receded back into his skull. He is not a pretty sight.
As our type art.
Yeah. And he kind of looks in your direction. You Mickey's boy?
I just nod quietly.
Yeah. He said to keep an eye out.
Oh,
Come
he knew
on.
I was coming.
Follow me. You hear him beep twice. The little meep meep on his golf cart, and he leads you to one of the parts of the cemetery that's still under kind of renovation. It looks like they're building a mausoleum there, and he goes over, leaves the golf cart, walks over to one of the other mausoleums that's there, pulls the heavy door, and leads you in. You see that there's what looks to be some kind of historical figure sarcophagus. He slides it to one side, shows you there's a secret entrance. He's like, you can use this space here if you have to. Should be comfortable for the two of you.
Thank you. I didn't catch your name.
People call me Bobby, Robbie. Robert Duke is the name. Mickey never talked about me?
Does that name sound familiar?
Not at all.
No. Like, he told me about he didn't tell me a name, but he did mention about a good friend of his that was an undertaker in these parts.
Yeah, okay.
I'm assuming that's you.
Yeah, I would hope so.
I appreciate this and you putting us up. I'd like to pick your brain if you had when you had a moment.
Yeah, go ahead. You see him lean up
look-
against the sarcophagus.
I take a look at Mustang and I just kind of look back. I don't know if you know the reason I'm here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know why he was here?
He what do you know about Astoria, kid? And it's
I'm assuming-
weird being called that again.
Yeah, I'm having flashbacks. I mean, do I have to roll something to see if I know anything?
No. Mickey didn't
Okay.
tell you anything.
Mickey didn't tell me anything. Okay.
Yeah.
Like Robbie, he didn't really tell me anything.
Yeah, that was his deal. Kept things close to the vest. Story is not a tower city, so don't feel like you're gonna have a lot of friends here. It's not Anarch either, though, so it's not a barony. It's too small for that. There's maybe that I know of. There's 6 other kindred here, so they'll know once they see you that you're not from here. So you have a disadvantage.
Don't we always do? And like I'm insinuating our clan, and I just look at him and
Yeah.
and smirk.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't know what you're doing, yeah.
This is true. So this is kind of, I guess, a free city per se. It's just
Yeah. Nothing's free, kid. Just, we keep our nose down. We obey the rules that were set down before us, and just kind of live with each other.
so. Do we need to do myself and my friend here have to announce ourselves to anybody? Is that how this works here?
He laughs.
Or no?
There's no prince here. Just don't
Oh,
bring
you
any
did
attention
mention.
to us. It should be fine.
I hate attention.
Good. You fit right in.
Yeah.
So you mentioned, there's about 6 others of our kind here. Why was Mickey here?
From what he told
No.
me, he was looking for something that predates what's her name, Geraldine.
Okay. But I'm guessing, knowing Mickey, he didn't tell you what that was.
No, no. He gave me a picture though about some woman, kind of a looker, red hair, sunglasses. Didn't get a good look at her eyes, but I'd never seen her before.
Did she have a scarf?
Yeah, maybe.
Plaid scarf?
Yeah, I don't remember much. Kind of flashed it.
Understandable. Well, this came as a surprise to me because, well, I was under the impression Mickey was headed headed to Chicago. Come to find out, that wasn't the case.
Hmm. He didn't mention if I had heard anything from Chicago, but you know, this not being a tower city, we don't get much in the way of news.
Have you one more quick thing, and because I don't want to over overstay our the hospitality that you've given, but have you guys not heard anything about the Baoju Corporation or anything like that?
Gesundheit.
I'll take that as a no. And
Did you have
I smirk.
a stroke there, or is that an actual name?
No, that's a name. There's some crazy things going on to the south and to the west.
Well, sometimes I'm glad it's a small city.
Sometimes I wish I was in that too. And I just nod And so is it like what he's showing me? Is it just like a mausoleum? Like there's nothing in there?
If you climb down to see
Yeah.
the situation,
Yeah.
it is an abandoned mausoleum. There's about 4 slots, 2 low, 2 high. They look like they've been retrofitted to become a bedding area. Like rolled up sleeping bag and a couple pillows for alcove.
Okay. And you said it's like 1:00?
Yeah.
This will do nicely. Mustang, are you good with this?
Works for me.
Should we go to Shively Park?
Yep. Let's go.
So I walk back out. If the guy's still there, I
Mhm.
thank him,
He is.
shake his hand,
Shakes your hand.
like much appreciated, and I kind of do the hat thing.
Yeah. He looks at you. He's like, "Be careful to the east. A bunch of lupines hang out over by the Columbia River edge. So
Okay.
as long as you're on this side of 202, you should be fine."
So Will, we don't have, do we out of the game, we don't know where Shively Park is, correct?
You do
Or do
not.
we know?
You do not.
Okay. Robbie,
Hmm.
would Shively Park be to the east?
Yeah. Kind of. It's across the bridge. Um, it's just on the north side of Front Street, so it's technically on the wrong side of 202, but there's only like 1 or 2 lupines that are there, and they're not terrible. You can talk to them.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah. He tells you how to get there.
Cool. Like Mustang, you got that? Okay. So we'll I'll start making my way to the car.
Yep.
Oh, and by the way, the head, we took it out and put it in the back seat
Yeah.
before we did the drive.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
covered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Covered when we got out of the car.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh. She was married to a werewolf.
No, she's married to a gangrel.
Oh no, I thought. Oh, you're right. I thought it. Hold on, I thought it was Joshua for a second, or not Joshua. Oh no, yeah, it was Joshua. I thought
Yeah.
for werewolf, but he had tidings with the werewolves. But never mind.
He
Okay,
did.
yeah. Forget it. Forget it. Forget what I said.
Mhm. And you take off. It's maybe like a 15-20 minute drive to Shively, since you don't know how to get there. Once you do get there, though, and you know the route, you can easily make it in like 10 minutes.
Okay.
Shively's not too far from the cemetery. And as you pull up, you do see the signs of like the park itself is closed after sundown. You can see that there are a bunch of different gazebos laid out from the closed wooden barricade of an entry fence that's down. But there's no guardhouse. There's nobody really stopping you from going forward.
I'm gonna activate Eyes of the Beast.
Okay.
Since we're gonna be in a dark park.
Mhm.
I'm like, I guess, I look. How big's a park?
It's maybe about, at best guess, 1,500 feet by 1,000 feet.
Okay. So it's not like a nature preserve. It's like just like
No.
a city park.
It's a city park, correct.
Oh, okay.
Is it just like flat land with like benches and picnic tables and such?
There are no benches. It is flatland. There's what looks to be open areas, covered open areas, for like wedding pictures, wedding receptions, like outdoor situations like that. Like there's a couple gazebos here and there that do have benches inside of them, but otherwise it is just kind of like a simple park. There's a fountain that looks to be one of the areas where if you could take Quince's pictures, that's where you would go.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's kind of like the Vizcaya fountain where it's kind of tiered. There's steps coming up. Yeah, it's three levels.
Oy, it's fancy.
Is there anyone in the park? Can we see like cars or can we see people, animals?
The parking lot itself would be inside past the wooden gate, but from the gate itself you don't see anything. There are a couple animals. You can hear some rustling in the distance. Melvin can see that something is just at the edge of the line where his night vision kind of fades out, and you can just see the pair of eyes kind of reflecting the light and just staring at the two of you.
Does Melvin tell me that?
I'll just but I'll pretend like I'm looking around, and I'll just kind of whisper to you. I'm like, whatever the direction will, like if it's straight ahead or 6 o'clock or whatever, and I'll just be like 5 o'clock. Couple eyes.
Can I sense the unseen?
Ooh. That's Auspex level 1. I make the roll. Okay. It's wits.
Getting it done.
Do it. The Hardy boys, the mix of, we're the mix of the Hardy boys, and what was the girl detective?
Nancy Drew. So one of the Hardy boys and Nancy Drew.
Yeah, and their pet ferret that's feral.
Yeah, just a wild animal waiting to be unleashed. As he points out the direction and the whole situation about the eyes, you blink hard for a moment, and as your vision adjusts, you see that there is a set of shadows that are moving off your periphery, coming closer, and as you narrow your field of vision to that area, you see that there is maybe this 3.5, 3'9" at the shoulder kind of wolf just stalking towards you.
Lupines.
Well, he did say that they'd be here, so it's not a shock.
Maybe they're friendly.
He said we could. I think he did say that you could talk to him. So
She steps out. Hi. We just want to talk. We come in peace.
I do that behind her.
Yeah.
I just
step out of the car, hold up the rabbit ears.
Yeah.
You see from the darkness in the bush where you saw the two eyes, you see them go from maybe being a foot off the ground two standing about 6 foot, almost like your height, and coming out. And
Big puppy.
it is not. It is a man. Um,
Oh.
the gentleman comes out. It looks like he's wearing a city park uniform.
Okay.
Got his hands in his pockets. Um, he comes over, so he's like maybe 100 feet away from you. He's on the other side of the wooden barricade, the wooden fence that's down, and he's just like, it's a little late to be sightseeing. Not gonna be of service to you.
Can I put these away?
He nods.
And I'm like, my apologies to that we're interrupting or in this area. Robbie told us it'd be okay if we spoke to you.
Robbie's assuming an awful lot.
This is true, and I take my hat off and I just like, there's no disrespect or ill intentions from our end. I can promise you that.
Well, so far you've been civil. So, what are you looking for out here?
Well, my name's Melvin Wright, and I believe there may have been something of interest in this park aside from yourself, of course. Somebody very important to me lost their life looking for something here. And I stop and I go, and in no way whatsoever am I implying that you had any involvement in that. I want that to be clear. And I'm being completely sincere with him.
He nods.
Okay. But after going through some of their things, this park was named as something that he was potentially investigating.
I think this must be like a couple of weeks back now. I think I know who you're talking about.
And I described Mickey to him.
Yeah. He listens and he's like, yeah, that's the gentleman. Yeah, he was here, but we didn't kill him, and he kind of points in the direction of where the other one is stalking that Mustang saw.
Okay.
I was one of your kind that killed him.
Oh, okay. That's what I was gonna ask.
How long ago was he here?
Couple weeks.
Was it here at the park, or what? How are you? I know it's a small town, so probably word travels. We're from a bigger town, but still small.
Yeah, we smell the city on you. He was here. He looked at a couple of the gazebos looking for something. Then he took off.
Was he alone?
Yeah.
Did you speak to him as well, or were you just keeping an eye on him from the dark?
We were civil. He approached, he introduced himself much like you did. He told us what he was after. Told him it wasn't here, but we let him check just in case. And we did just keep our distance.
So can I ask, what exactly was it he was after?
He referred to it as an elder. Said something about torpor. I don't know what that means.
I can indulge if you indulge me. I can fill you in on that, on what that exactly means. Maybe that could trigger something familiar to you in the park.
If it's something to do with your kind, it won't. We don't particularly take kindly to your kind being around here. That's why we've culled the herd, as it were. I say we, but it's mostly him, and he kind of points in the direction again. All you see is shadows, but Mustang can see the wolf.
Big puppy.
Right. Would it be too much trouble for you and I point to the shadow?
Yeah.
To extend the same what's the word I'm looking for? The same grace and ability for us to take a look ourselves. It's like I said, it's and let me ask you, do I know anything about werewolf culture or no?
Not at all.
Okay. So I'm like, he was my teacher, he was my guide. He's the person that made me, yes, I'm one of these, but I don't feed on humans. I try to limit my feeding as it is, and I try to be as cordial and respectful to others as possible,
He nods.
including your kind. We have some civilities with the pack in our area.
That's uncommon. But yeah, I can show you the three gazebos he went to. If that's true in the start.
Before we do that, I have a question.
All right.
How did you know that he was killed by someone like us and not one of you?
Renz was distrustful of him, so he had him followed.
Really? Is that the gentleman over there?
Oh, that ain't no man, ma'am. She and if she could hear you, she would take offense to that.
Oh, could we speak to Runs?
She's distrustful of what she calls 2 feet. That's man, humans.
When he says that, I'm like, would she be trustful of somebody on 4?
You
And
got
I whistle for Betty D.
yeah, she jumps out of the car and comes rushing over.
Oh yeah, I did.
To come on my shoulder.
Yeah. You see him kind of lean back, and he, in a little bit of a surprise how it comes over his face, he's just like, I'll be hot damned. I mean, if you want to tempt her confusing that for dinner, sure. But she's and he immediately kind of like recognizes Betty D. He's just like, but she looks like she could take her own in a gamble.
She's definitely a tough one.
Yeah. And by the looks of it and the smell of it, she's outlived her usual experience by a good amount.
This is true. I'm, you know, I'm, I, the truth is if you believe that there's a strong chance that despite, and I look at Betty D, I'm like, what I know she can do when I start like petting under her chin,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I can't risk losing another person, or another being in my life. I've already lost two. I'm I understand that information has a price and all these things, but I can't risk, even as some would just look at her as an animal. I don't.
Yeah. He puts his thumb and his pointer in his mouth and he whistles. And he's like, Ren's the throat, come over here and say hello to a friend of ours. And that's when you finally see the shadows kind of melt away, almost like your obfuscation. Very similar effect. And you see this massive, almost 4 foot tall wolf just kind of start padding your way. Betty climbs down and kind of just walks over. She's a good distance away, and you see her kind of spinning around, jumping up and down, making ferret noises. Uh, the wolf yips and kind of growls and shifts its body language, its tail, and it looks like the two of them are conversing.
Okay.
The gentleman in the ranger uniform kind of looks over, looks back at you. Well, she wasn't eating, so that's a good sign.
Uh, can you translate?
I mean, I can translate my end of the thing.
Yeah, I could probably piece together the
Yeah, but whatever the fuck your ferret is saying, I do not understand.
one more level, and I will. One more level of animalism, and I will.
uh,
You don't know what
but
the ferret's saying?
No, not yet. That's a level 3 power.
Oh no.
No, but
yeah,
the thing is, I wanted her to talk to him, to Ren's, so that this guy could hear what Ren says
yeah.
and then relay that to me.
yeah. Uh, apparently your animal is speaking highly of you, um, and has, in its limited capacity, vouched for your humanness. And although you smell of the monstrosity that you two are, um, I think, and then you see the wolf nod and start to pat its way back towards the kind of tree line in the shadows. And even though you are looking at it, it does pull the shadows back around it and starts to vanish again. So in that way, it is unlike obfuscation.
Okay.
And then Betty just starts to climb back up onto your shoulders. And he's like, all right. Same grace as you called it has been extended. Come on.
We start walking.
Yeah, and he takes you to the 3 gazebos that Mickey was investigating.
And was Ren the one that Ren's wasn't the one that followed Mickey, right? It was another pack member.
From what you heard, Ren's had Mickey followed. You don't know what that means.
Okay. Okay. And I start following him, and while we're walking, I ask him, I'm like, I by all means do not want to intrude on the courtesy that you guys have given us. But I was curious, even if there was a direction on where we could look, I would, you know, since you did say that Ren's did have somebody follow uh my teacher. I don't want to say. I'm not gonna say Sire because he's not gonna know what the hell that is. Well, I don't know. I'm assuming he won't know what that is. But is there? Can you think you could find out for us where it is that he went, or potentially if they know? I know you guys don't tend to delve too much into our world, but you could find that information out. That would be greatly appreciated.
Sure. I know that we lost sight of him on the other side of the Lewis and Clark River. He was over past the airport. And he kind of nods at Mustang for a moment. Pardon my language, man, but there's a gentleman's club on that side of the city called the Dollhouse. That's the last time anyone ever saw your friend.
The information's much appreciated. So I guess we'll go to the gazebos and look around there. Are the gazebos? So here's my question, and Mustang, tell me if I'm going up. What do you think? I wonder if the gazebos, if we triangulate the gazebos, the center point might be where the elder is, or where he was looking.
Yeah, I mean I had thought of that. I had thought of like investigating them to see if there were like etchings or something on them.
Yeah.
Or like a hidden map or something under. I don't know what kind of gazebo this is, but like if it's under it or like up above, like looking at the skylight roof part. So that's when we get there, that's what Mustang would investigate. Etchings or any kind of directional, even like graffiti stuff, like this way, like follow the white rabbit.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
There's no etchings, but all three of the gazebos have one thing in common. All of them have the dedication of when they were constructed is 1944.
Like it's a plaque.
Mm-hmm. It's a plaque. It's laid out to whoever funded the construction of the gazebo, but all of them were funded and erected in 1944.
And what year was the reckoning
name,
again?
In the location?
Say it again.
Is there a
1980.
Name? No. Like the names of the three gazebos aren't important.
Okay.
I'll tell you that.
What was the year of the reckoning again?
The beckoning happened in 1980. 1980 flat.
1980. Okay. So it's like so they've been here for quite some time.
Yeah. I mean, it is October 28th, 1984. It is 3 days from the evening in 1944 when Melvin was created.
Oh wow.
Your 30th birthday.
Wow. Okay, so dedicated construction. So what's 1944 important? I don't know. I'm trying to think of what 1940. Well, aside from World War, but
I mean, that was the year you were sired.
That was the year I was sired. Has
Gazebos?
say that again?
Mickey have made these gazebos.
That's what I'm wondering. Or any of the well, you said the names don't matter. I was going to say
Yeah.
if any of the names were aliases for Mickey. Had I asked because he still hasn't given us his name. I asked the lupine. Had Mickey come around here a lot, or
Not that I was
was it?
saying. This is the one of two caretakers of the park here. But nah, not on my watches. I've never seen the man before.
Now, if I look in between the three gazebos, and triangulate it,
Mhm.
is there anything of importance in the middle?
The fountain.
That's what I thought.
Let's go there.
Okay. Yes, so we'll go to the fountain.
Okay. You see, at the top there is what looks to be an angel, where the water kind of comes out of its hands. That beneath it are a boy and a girl. The statue is beautifully crafted, and the plaque says, "To Virginia and Clarence, my deepest apologies."
Do those names ring a bell to you, Melvin?
Oh, no. Because I just look back at my notes and I drop my pen.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Will. Fuck you, Will.
Yeah.
You. Whew, okay, so Mustang, you see me kind of drop to my knees.
Are you okay?
Those
Melvin.
my parents. My parents were Virginia and Clarence. That and I look back to and I kind of look back. I'm like the 1944. That's when I was turned.
So this is all for you to find?
I guess so.
Can I investigate the fountain?
Sure. What are you looking for?
I have to get my pen. Hold on.
Etching buttons, like secret openings, maps, little notes.
Okay. Yeah. Make a wits and investigation.
Hollowness. 7? Is it 7 for me? No. All right, that is a 4 on the hunger, a 4, 6, 7, 9, 8.
4 successes. Excuse me. You notice that the heads of the children can be turned, and if you turn them to face each other, there is a clicking that happens, and there is in fact a piece of the structure that will actually slide, and it looks like there's a small stairway that leads into the structure itself.
I stand up when she does that, and I look at the lupine,
Mhm.
And I'm just like, did you know about this?
No, first I see of it.
I'm gonna
I'm
go.
gonna go down. I'm gonna
Yeah,
go
no,
downstairs.
I start walking. I'm like, I'm gonna go down there.
As long as you don't mind me following, sure.
By all means.
Yeah. And you go down into the structure and into the sub level of this park. And there's a spider web of tunnels. And as you start to kind of explore, you come across
Yeah, dude.
a sarcophagus. And there are 3 initials on the sarcophagus, FDJ.
Do we know any of the names of the elders that disappeared?
Well, can I was reading through the journal, so I don't know if anything like that came up.
One of the stories that he wrote in his journal is about how he came across his sire, and how he had been saved from the plantation that he grew up on, along with a young girl that he wanted to marry. Her name was her first free name was Frances Dolores Jefferson. And he begged his sire to also embrace her, and he refused for a long time until he found somebody that he trusted enough to embrace her as well. But there's no name of who that is in the journal, and there's also no name for Mickey's sire. It is something that he has kept secret, even taking it to his grave.
Okay.
What do the other coffins have engraved if they do?
There's only the one sarcophagus down here.
So I
Oh.
walk up to it and I like basically like run my fingers across it, and I just say, I'm not even looking at Mustang, but I'm like, this was the love of his life. It was in the journal, remember? Frances
Oh.
Dolores Jefferson.
Whoa. Cool.
But he said,
You must really love this place.
but he said he told you that there was an elder here. An elder in Torpor.
Could she have been an elder?
She's in Torpor.
Could she have been an elder?
He never really talked to me about her. I just know about the journal, but I mean, according to the journal, she was on the plantation with him. So age-wise, it would make sense. I try to push open the sarcophagus.
It with your potence, it's an easy enough feat to accomplish. You slide it open, and there looks to be a beautiful hand carved smaller sarcophagus inside, whereas the top lid was just this kind of vague human shape. This one is much more intricate. It is much more artistically inclined. There is this heavy attention to detail on what looks to be a beautiful woman who is sleeping. But because Mustang is there, she also recognizes a bunch of the Tremere runes that line certain key points that seem to match with the chakra centers.
What?
Have I seen? Do I recognize any of the runes as specific things, or do I just recognize them as runes, Tremere runes?
They just recognize them as Tremere runes. You've seen this.
Other than the chakra.
Yeah, no, you've seen these with all your dealings with chasing down Andrew Givens. You've seen them described to you. Saif, definitely. You remember seeing at least some of them in his journal.
These are Tremere runes.
Do they do anything?
Not really sure. I don't know much about them.
Why would he come here? What? Why did he lie about Chicago? If she's in Torport, she's not dead. So why would she be kept in here like this? I grabbed one of the notebook, the folders. Are those are the runes? Are they just like painted on, or are they etched onto the?
No, they're etched.
I'm gonna do the
rubbings.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and do rubbings on it. Because if this is meant to hold her in for some bad reason, I don't want to open it up. But I don't want to do it right away. I want to try to figure out exactly what they're used for.
Sure. But yeah, you find yourself with 7 rubbings of 7 runes.
Okay.
Is there anything else in this chamber?
No.
It's just the tomb.
It's just a tomb. It actually does. If you look around, there are 4 what look to be canoptic jars.
What is that word? I don't know what that word is.
It is the jars that would be placed next to mummies. One for the heart, one for the liver, one for the lungs, and I believe it's one for the kidneys.
Are the jars easily opened?
No. They look like they've been sealed. They look like they've been sealed.
Can we look through there though and see?
I mean they're clay, so they're easily broken.
Oh, because they're clay. Okay.
So you could just smash them.
Well, Mustang doesn't know what that jar is, much like I don't know what that jar is. So she's gonna pick it up. Is it heavy? She's
Not
gonna
at
pick
all.
up one of them. Is it heavy?
The jar itself is not heavy, and once you pick it up, it doesn't sound or feel like there's anything inside them either.
Oh. She's gonna take the one that she's got in her hand and smash it on the ground.
Excellent. It's empty.
Okay, awesome. Right on.
I look in the jars, like the shards. I might turn around. I'm like, okay.
You just hear like a Legend of Zelda, just a jar breaking. No rupees inside, just a sad.
No rupees though.
Yeah, just a sad Mustang. Oh.
Before I sorry, Melvin. Before I
Break more
grab
jars?
the other jar and break it,
Yeah.
are there any like paint? Is there anything painted on the jar? Like any rune or of any kind?
It
Is it?
does look like the inside is painted with something. You're muted.
You're muted.
So whatever you said.
I said I looked into the inside of the jar shards.
Yeah.
Okay.
She was still going on about wanting to break something, so I wanted to see just how far she
okay.
would go. But yeah, the inside looks like it's a different shade of coloring. The outside of the mason jar, the outside of the clay jars looks to like it was meticulously painted with like shades of blue and purple, which you know is a depiction of like royalty, especially given the Egyptian motif. Whereas the inside looks like a very dark red, crimson.
Is there anything written on the inside of the jar that I broke and shattered on the ground?
There is not.
Okay. The other jars, do they feel equally as light as the other one?
The second one you pick up feels like something is sloshing inside, but it's very
I'm gonna
light.
hand that over to Melvin.
Are we just gonna?
And I want to look at the third one.
Are we just gonna be smashing pots? What am I doing here? And I like shake it.
It sounds like, imagine if you had a water bottle and you put in maybe 2 fingers worth of liquid.
Okay.
That's how much is sloshing inside.
What's on the top of the clay pot?
This one looks like it has the depiction of an eagle head. The one that Mustang broke looks like it had some kind of dog head, like a Doberman.
The one that we haven't touched at all.
The one that you're about to pick up, the third one, has a crocodile head, and the last one looks like it has a cat head.
So there's 4.
Yep.
I want to weigh them just like by grabbing them and placing them back.
The crocodile is the heaviest. The cat one feels like the first one you picked up.
That one's empty.
What's in them?
I don't know. Do you want to keep smashing pots?
Doesn't that feel a little like desecration?
Not if she's perfectly intact.
Do the clay pots have tops to them?
Yeah, they're sealed. There's like a wax kind of honey, sticky something sealing the tops to the jars.
Okay, I grab the jar that I have and I start peeling off the wax.
Okay.
As opposed to smashing it.
Yeah. With your potence, it's not too difficult. It does feel like, even though it's spongy, it does feel like concrete the moment you start to kind of strip it away.
Okay.
Whatever this is definitely old and definitely not something that has seen the light of day or similar construction fabrication techniques since it was created.
Okay.
But after a few minutes, you manage to strip the whole thing off.
And I take a look inside.
It looks like there's blood inside.
Oh, this is blood magic stuff.
I show it to Mustang.
It smells of vitae.
I'm no expert. But this looks like it was used in a ritual. She says with very little confidence.
I don't know what ritual. I think we need to stop touching things until we can get some more clarification. And I look back at
Okay.
the lupine. Would it be possible for us to have an invitation to return once we do some additional digging?
Kind of looks
Obvious-
around. He has just been shocked by the whole revelation of what has existed underneath his own park for some time. And he's like, I'm gonna have to talk it over with the rest of the group because they're gonna need to know about this place.
I understand. Please understand that this has some kind of significance with me, and I need to know more. That
I understand. Just be aware that if we decide that whatever's in here is too dangerous to let loose, we will open it up in the middle of the day.
I have a question.
Sure.
Real quick. If we lead him outside up there and I compel him to forget us, or compel him to forget the fountain, would that be possible?
Sure. But he'll also forget
Which one is more possible?
the fact that you just asked for extra time.
Yes, but we would have to have this conversation all over again.
Mm-hmm.
right.
That should be fine. It's a reset
Should be.
because they're gonna come in and fuck this shit up.
So after he said that, I walk back and I close the sarcophagus again.
Okay.
And I get the pot shards and I put them back up wherever Mustang grabbed them from.
Sure.
And I go to him, I understand. And I start making my way out.
All right. You all make your way back out of this hidden compartment. You shift the heads of the little children. The compartment closes, and Mustang compels him to forget the whole situation.
Wait.
Okay. Okay.
I can either compel him or cloud memory.
Cloud memory is
does
the
cloud
one.
memory?
Yeah. Cloud memory is the one you want to use.
So cloud memory would do what specifically?
It would erase the whole situation from the moment you found the secret entrance to you coming back out.
Right on. So it'll pick up right as we're looking at the fountain, basically.
Yep.
His memory.
Yep.
Cool. That's what we're doing.
Yeah. His memory will be that you got to the fountain, something happened, he lost track of time, and then you guys kind of brought his attention back to the situation. And as you see Mustang,
That's what we're doing.
As you see Mustang kind of lock eyes with him and do the thing that you've seen her do before, which is use dominate, you see him kind of just sit there glassy-eyed for a moment. And then he kind of shakes his head, comes to, and he's just like, I'm sorry, I must have zoned out there. What were you asking about the names or the years or something about the fountain?
We might. Do you think it's all right if we come back again just to take another look around?
Oh, yeah, I'll let my counterpart for tomorrow know that you're gonna be coming around, so that there's no big stink about it. Renz will be here, so but I don't know if she's gonna vouch for you. But if he asks, I'll let her. She can kind of let him know whether or not you two are the ones that were here or not. So
That would be really great. Could you tell us your name?
Oh, he points to his little name tag on his left breast pocket. It's Austin.
Hi, Austin.
Huh, ma'am?
And Mustang.
Like the horse?
Like the car.
I mean, the horse came first, but sure, yeah, that's fine. And he motions back to the entrance of the park. He's like, all right, if you're done, I can walk you back.
Much appreciated.
All right. You guys going back to the cemetery, or are you guys gonna drive around the city?
Well, based on what you told, are you asking me? Is the lupine asking, or are you asking?
No,
us?
I'm asking what you two.
Oh, when we get in the car, what time is it? By the time we get back in the car,
About 3:30 almost.
so we should probably go back to the cemetery, and then we're gonna go to a strip club tomorrow.
Yep. I agree.
All right. And I think as the two of you arrive at the cemetery and make your way into the mausoleum, this will be a good spot to call it for tonight. So I'd like to thank all of you for tuning in. As always, thank you so much. Mondays are for Vampire the Masquerade Chronicle. It's a dual story following a Camarilla group, which you just seen. And next week we will follow our Anarch group as we pick up with them on Halloween. Tuesdays are for either Legend of the Five Rings or a Werewolf the Wild West game that is opening up. So if you have a hunkering for more lupines, you can get them on Tuesdays. And Fridays is a split between our Dungeons and Dragons campaign, which is this Friday, and our Star Wars Out in the Dark campaign, which is the West End version of Star Wars, which I believe is probably the best version. But otherwise, please continue to keep your distance, continue to wear your masks, continue to wash your hands, and if you are of age, please get yourselves vaccinated. We are still not out of the woods yet, and with winter firmly here, because it is cold as all get out where I live, it is getting much more dangerous. So please get yourselves vaccinated. As always, if you are watching live on Twitch, there are phone numbers going up because it is okay to not feel okay. And if you feel like you need help, there are resources to help you get the help that you need. If you are not in the United States, there is a link going up so that you can find the resources in your area. Please check in on each other. If you are a friend or family member of somebody that is usually a strong or happy-go-lucky personality, please check in on them. You never know what a hello or how are you can shift somebody's mental state and kind of change the trajectory of their life. So please check in on each other, take care of each other. And as always, I will see you tomorrow. I will see you on Friday, or I will see you next Monday. But I will see you when I see you. Have a good night.